In this grade 12 maths literacy video, we are going to be looking at the March test scope. We are going to be looking at some term 1 topics, and out of those term 1 topics, we are going to be looking at specifically the ones that can be guaranteed to be in your March test. Hence, they are going to be part of your March test scope. We are going to do this with the help of March past papers, which is already linked in the description box below. So make sure that you download that question paper, and then we can move along doing that question paper, and you can use this video as a guidance as to how to answer that question paper. So we are going to get started with our March scope. By the way, in the question paper that is in the description box below, it's gonna have some questions that are not going to be in the scope because we don't know if they will be repeated or not. But these 4 topics that you are seeing right here on the slide are the ones that surely and guaranteed they have to be in your March test. So the first one is going to be financial documents, meaning that you're going to be given financial documents of a customer with a store, for example, and then you're going to be looking at answering questions based on that document. For example, you could be even given a receipt, a cash receipt, and you ask questions about that receipt. So it is a matter of you being able to read through your financial document. The addendum to the question paper is also included in the description box below, because when it comes to the topic of financial documents, usually the financial documents you find them in the addendum. And so make sure that as you are downloading the question paper, you take note that you also have to download the addendum that is also in the question paper. Then the next topic is going to be on taxation. We have already done a video on taxation, so here you are going to have just a different question to test also your knowledge on taxation. So we are going to have a chapter where we are going through a question of taxation. So if you go through this video and the other video that we did on taxation, you should be very covered when it comes to the topic of taxation, especially because in that previous video of taxation, you can find it in this channel. Go on the videos tab and you will find it there. In that video, we go in detail explaining everything when it comes to taxation. But that question in that video did not include rebates and medical credit, whereas this one in this video is going to include the rebates and medical credits, so you can see how those are treated. Then the next topic is going to be on tariff systems. When it comes to tariff systems, we also have a video that we have already done on this channel on tariff systems. However, in this question paper, we are going to be looking at a different tariff system now. In the previous video that we did water tariffs. We talked about electricity tariffs as well as cell phone tariffs. On this one, we are going to talk about transport tariffs, which is something that we never covered on that video. So if you have been keen on knowing how to treat transport tariffs, we are going to do those in this video. So when you combine the knowledge from that video as well as the one that you are going to get in this video, then you should also still be covered when it comes to tariff systems. Then the topic of data handling. In data handling, we never did a specific video on data handling, but on last year's scope, when you look at the December scopes that we did for maths literacy, you will still find more questions on data handling. And in this video, we are also still going to do some more data handling. So let's go ahead and get started with a question on financial documents. Remember, the question is in the description below as well as the addendum to the question. Our question says Mrs. Kelly has an account with TFG. Given below is an extract from her statement. So in this one, they gave you the financial document in the question itself. In some question papers, they will also put it in the addendum. So in this one, we are looking at the TFG group statement, and it covers Jet Stores, Edgar's, and Foschini. What's important to us is the information about Mrs. Kelly, meaning things like the credit that is available, the installment that she has to pay, even her account number. So those are the things that you need to pay attention to, as well as the amounts that he's been paying over time, or the transactions that have been happening over time, and that's what they're going to ask questions on. So in 1.2.1 it says how much credit is available to Mrs. Kelly. Remember, I just stated that things like credit limit, things like the credit that is available, or the balance at the beginning, the balance at the end, these are the things that you need to be able to identify out of a financial document. Now, when it comes to the topic of financial document, this is a very simple topic. It only just requires you to pay attention. So when you look at our financial document again, you see at the top there it says credit available is 2,405 and 67 cents. So that becomes the answer to the question of how much credit does Mrs. Kelly have. It's 2,405 rands and 67 cents. Then in question 1.2.2 it says write down Mrs. Kelly's credit limit. So now we are going to look at the financial document again. We are now looking for the credit limit. We are just stating the credit limit. Also pay attention to the amount of marks that you are getting there. It's 2 marks for just stating something that is already obvious. So when it comes to the credit limit, they're telling us there that the credit limit is 8,690 rands and 50 cents. So that becomes my answer to how much credit limit does Miss Kelly's have. 8,690 and 50 cents for 2 marks. 1.2.3 says calculate the total value of the items Mrs. Kelly bought in February 2022. So basically you're going to go back to the statement. Now you're looking for the transactions that are talking about a purchase. So you see the first one is opening balance, the second one is cash payment, but the third one talks about 12-month plan purchase for 615, and then we have a purchase in Edgar's for 110 and a purchase in Edgar's again for 309. So you simply just add them together and it gives you 1,035 rands and 55 cents. So it's just a matter of just adding only the purchases. The trick here was just for you to be able to identify that those other two at the beginning were not part of the purchases. They were payments and an opening balance. So you're just basically just singling out the payment. There are some questions where we will ask you to add everything else together, so it's a matter of reading the question carefully. 1.2.4 says calculate the value of x and y. When you're looking at my statement, you see that the value of x is on the balance side, so it's supposed to be the balance after we purchased from Edgar's, and the closing balance will be the same value as x because it will be the amount that we ended with, because there's no other transaction after the purchase in Edgar's. So to calculate x, we take the previous balance, which was 6,530, 58, and we add to it the Edgar's purchase, which was 309 and 80 cents, and it gives us 6,840 and 38 cents. And because there was no other transaction, that means y becomes that same amount, 6,840 and 38 cents. So it's just a matter of you being able to know that x and y were supposed to be the exact same amount. Now in 1.2.5 it says write down the installment for February 2022. When you look at my information, it says that my installments, I pay 480 rands. So that's going to be the same installment that I have, because this statement is for February. So that means that is my installment for February. So my installment is 480 rands. Sorry. So that completes your question on that financial document. Then we have question 2. It has an extra A. So in this instance, our financial document, you will find it in your addendum. In an extra A, it says an extra A shows the credit card statement of Mr. Ntuli. Study the statement on an extra A and answer the following questions. The first one in 2.1.1 wants you to interpret the balance brought forward amount for this statement, meaning you have to explain what that amount for the balance brought down is. So we are going to have to look at the statement to see why they want us to explain what it is. Maybe it looks different from what it usually looks like. So when we go to our addendum in an extra A, we are seeing that we have a credit statement for Mr. Ntuli. It has a whole lot of information. We are looking at the statement details, we are looking at payment information as well as the account summary. When we are looking at under account summary, there's a balance brought forward of 50 rands and 41 cents. It's still on the downwards part of the statement. We also see there under transaction details, it says balance brought forward minus 50 rands and 41 cents. So basically they want us to explain why is it a minus, what does it mean. So what it means is that he overpaid by 50 rands and 41 cents. The only reason they want you to explain it is only because it had that minus before it, and they wanted to know what was the minus all about. Then in 1.2.1 it says state the reason why some digits from the account number have been left out of the statement. So you know that in your statement, usually when they show your account number, there are some amounts that they show in asterisks, as you see there in the credit card statement for Mr. Ntuli. It says 2010 and then starting until the last 4 digits of the account number. So basically the question is, why do you think they put those asterisks? Why do they use those asterisks? Basically it is to protect the customer from fraud, because usually if you show the whole entire account, there are some people who know how to manipulate the systems and use your account number to steal money from your account. So basically it's simply just for the protection from fraud, or you could simply say to protect Mr. Ntuli from fraud. Then in 2.1.3 it says Croxley Bank uses the formula below to calculate credit card withdrawal fees. Verify using the formula if the correct withdrawal fee was charged. It says ATM withdrawal fees is equals to 2 rands per 100 rand or part thereof. The part thereof just basically means that they charge 2 rand for everything that is 100 rands, but what if you withdrew 80 rands? They will still charge you 100 rands. Basically they are saying with round off everything to the nearest 100. So we are seeing there that under debits, after he withdrew 350, they charged him a withdrawal fee of 8 rands. So basically our calculation, we are trying to calculate if that 8 rands they charged him, is it accurate for that 350. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug into the formula. Start with the 2 rands, multiply open bracket with 350 and divided by that 100. So that gives me, basically it says, basically that's to say how many 100 rands are in 350. There are 3 of them, but there's a remainder of 50 rands. But because they said part thereof, it means that we now have to round it off to a whole number. So that 3.5 is rounded off to 4. So then when you take 2 rands and you multiply it by 4, it gives you 8 rands, which means the correct fee was charged for him. So basically we were just proving that 8 rands is the accurate amount that was supposed to be charged. And in 2.1.4 it says use the transaction details to show with calculations how the closing balance of 28,000 came about. So you're seeing that the closing balance there is 28,135,76. To calculate closing balance, you add all of your debits together, meaning the 350, the 8 rands, the 18,503, and the 9,827, and you are going to minus all of your credits, meaning everything that has a minus, starting with the minus 250, 41 minus 400, and the minus 2 rand 50. Those become my credits. So you're going to basically add my debits together and add my credits together and take my total debits and minus my total credit, as you are seeing there. Basically that is our formula for closing balance. So my total debits, I start with the 350 I withdrew, and the 8 rands I was charged for, and then there was something for 18,503.49 plus the 9,827 and 18 cents. It gives me 28,688 and 67 cents. Then my total credits is the 500 plus the 50 rands, 41 cents, and the 250. They gave me 552 and 91 cents. Basically, then I take my total debits and I minus my total credits, and it gives me 28,135.76, which is actually the balance that is on the statement. We were not verifying, we were just calculating how they came about it, and we have shown how they came about it. The last question says, give one disadvantage of Mr. Ntuli buying items using credit card. So basically it's a theory general knowledge question. He could create bad credit rating if he fails to pay. So any disadvantage that you could think of for using a credit card will be welcome, and therefore you are done with your financial documents. Let's move on to a question on taxation. Remember, I already said that we have a question on taxation that we have already done in this channel not so long ago as part of our term 1 topics. In this one we are looking at Thabo, who is 45-year-old businessman. His monthly taxable income, remember, note that it says monthly, is 39,500. Thabo belongs to a medical aid fund. We are seeing the tax brackets and the income, and as well as the tax rates that we are going to use for our question. So basically we have talked that what you need to do is to basically annualize that amount. If you are calculating taxable income, you need to annualize that amount. That's why I was saying take note that it's a monthly amount. You need to annualize it first, and when it is annual, you can come to the taxable income column and look where he fits in. And because they told you his age, that is for you to be able to apply the tax rebates. Also, he belongs to a medical aid for that medical aid credit. The first question wants you to determine Thabo's annual taxable income. So this is simple, where they told us that he earns 39,500 monthly, and we want an annual income. So it's a simple matter of multiplying that amount by 12. Why do we do this? Because you can't calculate anybody's taxable income without annualizing their salary first. So this is actually a very good question for you to be able to start with. So 39,500 multiplied by 12, you get 474,000 as his annual income, which you can then use in calculating his monthly income. That's why it says, hence calculate Thabo's monthly income as paid to SARS. So you start calculating it as an annual amount, and then when you're done determining the amount that he has to pay to SARS annually, then you can divide it by 12. So we know that he earns 474, which puts him in tax bracket 4. That starts with 110,739 and 36% of everything that is above 467,500. So we are going to use that column of tax rates to now calculate our taxable income. You start with that amount that they were just telling us about, that 110,739. Then you're going to plus it and open a bracket, then the 36%, which is the percentage that we got from there, multiply, you open another bracket. These brackets, the placements of this bracket, by the way, they are very important. Then you start with his annual income, which was 474 as we calculated in 4.1.1. Then you minus the amount that they said, the amount above, so that's 467,500, and then you close two brackets. You punch it the way it is in the calculator, paying specific attention to those brackets, and if you place them correctly, it will give you your final answer as 113,079. rents. Then you're going to minus his rebates. Remember, Tabo is only 49, so that means he only qualifies for a primary rebate. So out of that annual income, you're going to minus the primary rebate only of 15,714, and then it gives you now his annual income has been reduced to 97,365. Then remember, he belongs to a medical aid, and so you are going to look at, because it's only him, so you're going to say the amount that he pays per month, and you're going to multiply it by 12, because remember, we are still dealing with annual things. So 97,365 minus open bracket 332 times 12, or you could have done the 332 times 12 on the side and just minus that total amount there. Either way, it will give you 93,381. Now that's his annual tax. Then now to get monthly tax, you simply divide it by 12, and per month he pays the tax of 7,781 and 75 cents. We have done intensively another question like this in that taxable income video, so make sure you go to that one as well. You do them both until you understand them. My recommendation is always take the question paper, go to this question, this is question 4, go to this question, attempt this question, and then come back to this video. Use this video as your memorandum to mark yourself to see that you are actually grasping this on your own. So make sure that you do that to make sure that you understand it, because tax is one of those questions that it's a lot of calculation, and when something is a lot of calculation, the only way to be able to understand it and be able to be comfortable with it is for you to keep doing it over and over again. This is where practice makes perfect. But otherwise, we are done with a taxation question. We move on to the tariff systems. When it comes to tariff systems, remember, again, we did say we have already done tariff system question in a previous video, and this one we are going to be looking at a transport tariff. It says the table below shows the 2021/2022 Johannesburg Metropolitan Bus tariff that came into effect on 1 July 2021. We are seeing that it has stages, it has the cash fare, and then it has the monthly payments if you are taking 52 trips, 44, 14, 12, and 10 trips per month. The first question wants you to define tariff according to the given context, meaning according to the scenario that they gave to you in that box. So basically, a tariff basically is the amount that we charge you for using something. So if it's for using water, if it's for using your cell phone, or for using your electricity. But if we are answering in the context of this scenario, it is the rate of charge for using the metro bus by customers. This is us now putting it in the context of this scenario, because this scenario talks about the bus. If it was about water tariff, then you would have said the rate for using water. If it was about electricity, you would have said the rate for using electricity. That's if you're putting it in context. In 2.2.2, they says calculate the cost for a return fare paid in cash to destination in stage 7. You see stage 7, the column for cash fare is 31 rands and 30 cents, but that is a one-way trip. If it's going to be return means you're going and coming back, so you multiply that amount by 2 and it gives you 62 rands and 60 cents is what you're going to pay for a return trip. Then the last question says Mr. Ntuli will be working at destination in stage 2 for 6 days. Calculate what the total cost of the trip will be if he pays a cash fare. Now, if he's going for 6 days, that means going and coming back, that would have been a 12 monthly trip, but they're saying he wants to pay cash. So we're looking at the cash column. The cash column says you pay 15 rands and 90 cents just a one-way trip, so you multiply by 2 to account for going and coming back, and then you multiply by 6 to account for 6 days, and it gives me 190 rands and 80 cents. As you can see, transport tariffs are much simpler than water and electricity tariffs that we did in that previous video, but make sure that you go back to it for you to be able to remind yourself of how to do those ones, because those ones are more tricky. Then let's get into data handling. So when we're looking at data handling, remember I said we did some more questions on data handling in the scope videos from last year, so you can also look at those, but this one specifically focuses on box and whisker. It says the box and whisker plot below shows the monthly salary in law and in business field. So you have the box and whisker for law and for the business field. We know that the box and whisker, basically what it shows you is the 5-point summary. The first line that you're seeing there shows you the minimum, then the first top of your box gives you the lower quartile, then the line in the middle gives you the median or the Q2, which is our intermediate quartile, and then the last part of your box gives you your upper quartile, which is your Q3, and then the last part of your box and whisker gives you your maximum. So basically we are looking at salaries. It says there the heading, the box and whisker plot for salaries in thousands of rands. So basically the amount that you are seeing there, or the numbers that you're seeing there, they represent thousands. So where you are seeing it says 60, there actually means 60,000 rands. That 65 is 65,000 rands. I want to explain that because I remember there was a question that we did that had a similar thing where they said the amount represents in thousands of rands, and I took it for granted that people understand that that's what it means, but it turns out they did not. So when you're seeing that 80 there, that is 80,000 rands. I hope we are together there. So when we answer our question, we will be answering in thousands of rands. So in 4.2.1 it says determine the difference in the median salaries for law and business fields. So median, we are talking about Q2. Remember I said median is the same thing as Q2, meaning the line in the middle. So we're seeing that for law the line in the middle is a little below 75, so we can say that it is 74. And when it comes to business, the line in the middle is on 85. So basically we are saying for law it is 74,000 and for business it is 85,000. The difference means minus those two amounts together, meaning take the bigger amount and subtract the lesser amount. That's what difference means. So we take the 85,000 because it's the bigger one and minus the 74,000, and it gives us 11,000 rands. Remember I said we are going to be answering in thousands of rands. And then in 4.2.2 it says calculate the interquartile range for business field. Interquartile range, they gave you a formula, is Q3 minus Q1. So basically we are going to go to the box and whisker for the business, and then we are going to be looking at its Q3, which you can see it's 95, meaning 95,000. And when you're looking at its Q1, it's a little above 75, so we will say it is 76,000. So we are going to minus those two amounts together because that's how you find interquartile range. So we are going to say 95,000 minus 76,000, and therefore our interquartile range is 19,000. So that's how you do your interquartile range. It's just a matter of you knowing where is your Q3 and where is your Q1. Then in 4.2.3 our last question says a statement was made that 75% of the people in the law field earn a salary that is less than 50% in the business field. Now in that video that we did before, it explained to you where the 75 is and where the 50 is. So basically at Q1 it's at 25, Q2 is at 50, and Q3 is at 75. So basically they are saying that Q3 of law is less than Q2 of business, and you can see there that it is actually true. Q3 of law is actually at 84,000. It is a little below 85, whereas Q2 of business is right on 85,000, and therefore the statement is correct. So because in this video we were only spotting questions, we did not complete the full question paper, but if you complete it on your own and you have some questions with regards to it, leave them for me in the comment section below. Now, if you need one-on-one help with anything that we have covered in this video or this subject in general, we have a visual program that can help you with just that. From anywhere in the country, all you need is an email and a WhatsApp, and we are able to give you personalized help for a monthly fee. This will cover full lesson recordings as well as notes and study materials for any of your subjects that you need personal help with. This will include some of the subjects that are not even covered on this channel. For example, subjects like history. You will soon see our full subject list. We will also cover scopes for those specific subjects as well as attempt past papers together. But what's most important about these virtual sessions is that you get full-time communication, meaning from the hours of 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. you are able to send in your questions. Even if you send them at late, between the hours of 8 and 4 you will get replies to your questions. You will get to go back and forth and get full-time attention on any question that you do have. Even if we have to repeat something over and over again, you get to have that personalized help that is helpful to you. As you can see with some of the examples there, we get to exchange scripts, we get to exchange question papers, and you get to show me what it is that you wrote, and you even get markings for your questions to see how you actually do perform when it comes to a specific question or a specific subject. Grade 10 to grade 12, as well as those who are upgrading and rewriting, those are the full list of subjects that we do offer. If you are interested in any of this, for you to be able to get your price quotation, it is very simple. All you have to do is email me on that email address that you see there. When you do email, make sure that in the subject line you write your name and surname, and then in the body of your email, that's where you will tell me your grade and the subjects that you need help with. It can be one subject or it can be a mixture of subject. Hence, we are saying that you need to email for you to be able to get your price quotation. Now, because this is one-on-one, it means that it puts a limit on the number of people I can take per month. So I'm going to be limiting it to 10 students per month. So make sure that you email to secure your spot. Have YouTube recommend you more of my videos, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below.